Hey, it's Sammy and Natalie here, and welcome to the Anxiety Compass, where anxiety isn't the enemy, it's our tour guide. We'll swap stories, share tools, and have a laugh while we find our way back to true north. Come along. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Anxiety Compass. How are you, Nat?
I'm good. Miss Sammy, how are you? Lovely.
Really excited. We have our second ever guest, and
We
I'm so
do.
excited. We are
Oh, so
starting.
excited.
I know we're starting to bring guests on because we've heard you guys talking about us getting more experts in and chatting, and that's what we're doing. And I'm finding some really amazing people. And I cannot wait to welcome our guest today. In fact, I'm just going to welcome her on now. Hey, Ellen, come on down.
Hi, Ellen.
I had no idea I was your second guest. What an honor.
I know, it's very
Thank you.
exciting. Now, how do I say your last name?
Tuzi.
Tuzi. I didn't want
Tuesday.
to say it wrong. So we've got
Yeah.
Ellen Tuzi here. Ellen, I found Ellen on social media. How funny is that? We sort of ran within similar circles. You knew someone that I knew. I can't even remember
NLP.
what it was. Yeah, something to do. Oh,
Yeah.
Ah,
that's right. You're NLP as well. Nat's
Yeah.
NLP. She does
Yeah.
NLP. And yeah, I started watching your reels and I was like, oh, these are so great. And I sort of watched you grow from maybe 1,000 followers, and now you got like you've gone viral. I'm like, this is so great. So
oh, that's
well
wonderful.
done.
Yeah, it's been a wild journey for sure. I started my page. It was just my personal page. And to be honest, I actually had no social media.
Yep.
I was really just, well, I guess because of my own journey, I knew social
Tell
media
us,
wasn't
maybe for our listeners, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll
okay. Yeah, all
go
right.
into your journey. Yeah.
So yes, I'm Ellen. And I live on the Gold Coast. I live with my husband, two kids, and we've got an Australian Kelpie, and we love the
Oh,
beach. And yeah, where we live is just absolutely beautiful. And yes, I was a primary school teacher for 10 years, and through a few different, I guess, life experiences and different things that happened with me, I had a career change, and now I am a certified body image and intuitive eating counselor, and I work with a lot of women, specifically mums, who are really looking to ditch diet culture and model something different for their kids.
Yep.
And I have also joined up with a beautiful bunch of ladies, and we have been doing some work in school. So we made a collective. We are called Nourishing Bodies and Minds, and we
oh,
just last
lovely.
year we started doing some talks in schools as well about body image, um, nutrition, like
Yep.
eating disorder work, and a bit about self-worth and resilience. So that's been
That's so
really
good.
lovely
Yeah.
as well, because I guess when I left teaching, a big part of me still loved teaching. I loved working with kids, and it just got to a point where I knew that wasn't for me anymore. And though it's really great that I get to use that experience and
To get there.
get back in schools. And because of the work that I'm doing as well, I also know how important that preventative work is and being proactive about that work so that hopefully I'm talking to less mums, eventually, because
Yeah.
the kids and that's why, especially after having my own kids, I realize how early you can have these conversations that can really plant seeds to build a really
Yes.
positive relationship with body and food
Oh,
and
that's so
exercise. So
true. That's
yeah.
You've had
so
your
true.
own journey, didn't you, with image and
Yes. Yeah. So I guess that was where my social media probably can come back
Yeah.
in. I went on my own. I had an eating disorder myself and really went through a big transformation. I guess it probably really started when I wanted to have kids. And my boyfriend who is now my husband, very like compassionate, loving, supporting guy. And he kind of was seeing me through it all. And then, yeah, when we wanted to have kids, I didn't have a period. I hadn't had a period for 9 years. I would get a period maybe once a year, a day, maybe a random time. I had no clue. And had lots of different tests done and different things. And saw lots of specialists. And they kind of said to me, "Oh, you have polycystic ovaries."
Hmm.
And that was maybe part of it. And I also knew a big part of it was my mental health, which I didn't talk about a lot prior to that. My husband was really one of the only people that kind of knew deep down, because obviously we spent a lot of time together.
Yes.
He would see my eating habits, when he would try and cook me food, and I would be like, hell no, I'm not
Nope.
eating that amount. And Kim Tuzi, coming from an Italian family, the oil, the butter,
Oh, yum.
and
Yeah, yeah.
anxiety around food. Like
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah.
he
They
was
were
my
big
biggest fear.
triggers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so and like wanting
Mm.
to go on random ice cream dates, like things like these that
Yeah.
yeah, so I guess my social media started, it was a personal page, and I had, after not being on social media because I knew that wasn't a good place for me, I went through a lot of things. And then when I wanted to start my own business, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to use this page. And I also
Yeah.
just started sharing my journey online. I was like, because I got to a point where I thought, wow, like this is what life can be like. And how exciting if I could help someone else get to this place. Because
Oh, I got
eating
goosebumps.
disorders, yeah, very
Mm.
isolating, very lonely place. And
Mm.
I guess that silence thrives. I mean, the shame thrives in that silence of you not talking about it, not telling anyone, and just feeling like it's just you.
Yeah.
And
There's so
though
Yeah.
many
you
people
share
out
that
there.
story,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yep.
very powerful. So I just started sharing my story more and more. And the more I shared, the more it really resonated with people. And I guess, like Sammy said, I had a lot of fun with the reels, like in the
Yeah, you
beginning.
did. The little skits that you did with you
Yeah.
dressed up with your little pigtails and it was really cool. I really loved that.
When I go
And
back to the start, I'm like, oh my gosh, those reels, like speaking, everyone loves cringe, like
yeah,
they were
oh,
cringe.
you got to
But
be a little bit cringe to get back
yeah,
to
and and you know what,
Yeah.
like I had to bring light to that situation because it can be quite,
Oh yeah.
and
It's quite a
a bit
heavy.
heavy.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. That's sort of what we do with the podcast, like anxiety and mental health. It's such a
Yeah.
deep topic, but you've got to bring a little bit of humor and light to it. I think that's how people learn and connect with you,
Yeah,
when you can
definitely.
Yeah.
laugh a bit about things. But yeah, I'm guessing so more this episode, I wanted to sort of touch on the body image side. I've noticed, like, because
Mm.
I work in schools too, and I've noticed particularly the younger generation are obsessed with the way they look. And Nat and I were talking about this just before you came on. We were talking about anxiety and how it sort of integrates. Anxiety is sort of like a way to control. Like when you're in control, you feel less anxious, right? You just
Yeah, yeah.
control everything. And one of the things that we can control is the way that we look,
Hmm.
right? And whether that's restricting the way that the foods that we put in our body or plastic surgery. Like I'm finding even with social media, a lot of people are using all the different filters now. It's
Yeah.
just it's a scary world that we live in if you have young teenage girls, even boys. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just it's
Yeah,
full
they're
on.
just as affected. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I'm wondering, like, if this is for you now, have you ever thought, and our listeners, have you ever thought if I could just fix this part of my body, everything will be better? Like, if I could just lose a little bit of weight, or if I could just fix this or that. Like, I find myself, even now, like, I'm pretty confident in who I am as a person and that. But sometimes if you're feeling a bit off, like, I'll notice, like, I'm in my 40s now, I'm like, oh, my neck's like really starting to get loose. And I've never really
Yeah, my
noticed.
jowls are starting to
Yeah.
slide downwards
But I
at
wonder,
nearly
like, is this
57.
the
It's like,
society that
oh.
we're in? Like we
Yeah.
don't accept aging in our society. Unfortunately, aging is not as accepted as it is in the other cultures around the world.
Yeah.
But what is that feeling? Like, you're sitting there, you're in the mirror, and you're looking at yourself. Is that coming from your body, or where is that feeling coming from? Like, do you reckon you could answer that one? Is that a bit, am I throwing you in the deep end there with that question?
Well, so our body image, yeah, people think it's kind of vanity, right? Like we think, oh, like I care about my jowls or I care about my face or how I look or my belly is a huge one for so many people. And we think
Yeah.
body image is just, yeah, like being vain and just caring about what we look like. And though body image has a lot of different elements, which include, yes, like the cognitive, so our thoughts and our affective, our feelings about how we feel about our body, and as well as our perception, how you see your body, and then the behaviors that come as a part of that. So, are we body checking? Are we restricting? What kinds of things are we avoiding photos or time in our swimmers with our family? All of these things that come. So, it really is quite a complex, topic. And
Yeah.
the
Mm.
things that affect this body image, like you say, where this is coming from, there's lots of different things. And, obviously, one of the biggest ones is our childhood and our family experiences, culture. And, here, like you see it very clearly, like in our culture, the type of body that is stereotypically the ideal body.
Yeah.
And so I actually saw a reel the other day, and it was a young woman, and I feel like she was Ethiopian or something like this. She had beautiful dark skin, and she was saying how her body, she's actually been receiving comments about she is too thin and she looks sick. And
Oh,
in her culture, they
can't
like
win.
them to be bigger because that means like
Yes.
you're healthy, you're
Healthy, you're
healthy.
fertile.
Yes, like all of
Yeah.
these things. And so, our culture plays such a big part in it. Social media
Oh,
plays
so
such a
true.
huge part. And like you said, especially online with young kids. Um, yeah, I guess there's so many different little factors that also
Yep.
play a role
Branch into
in
that.
how we're thinking, how we're feeling, and then our behaviors. And these are all affecting then how we show up every single day. So it's definitely a very tricky, complex
Mm.
conversation around body
Yeah,
image.
it is.
Yeah.
And like we obviously with our clinic we see all different kinds of people. I just went to Japan recently and I noticed one of the biggest surgeries over there is eye-opening surgery. And they all have sort of
Yes.
scars under their eyes because in
Yes.
anime and all the girls want to look like, and I found yeah,
Western
and I've
eyes.
got quite big eyes. So when I was walking around, like they were all kind of looking at me. And
Uh,
I was like, wow, they want my eyes. Like this is a thing. I guess like as you were saying with culture, it depends on where you are as to what the
yeah.
perfect sort of image is around that.
Mm.
You absorb what your environment is, right? And
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
yeah,
And in a lot of those Asian cultures as well, they really they worship like the non-aging type look. And
the
actually,
white
Yeah.
skin.
yes, like
Yeah.
very pale skin and like no
Like
wrinkles.
porcelain
Well, they
skin.
wear
Yeah,
gloves when they're driving and hats and
Yeah.
yeah. Never
they're,
like
they're all like
sun
sunny.
protection. Yes, we're all give me the sun. Like tanned is the look here,
Yeah.
and so over white. And yeah, I had a woman comment to me the other day about how you can get facelifts now. And I
Mm.
was like, but what does that mean exactly? And the procedure that she described, and they do these, she said I would go to South Korea. So she'd like done a little bit of research and had heard about, and yeah, they basically like slice open, pull tight
Yep.
up, and that
Oh,
just like blew my mind. I thought,
yep.
wow, like,
It's
and these are the
insane.
types of things that sometimes we're competing with. So of course, when we get like my wrinkles and
I got
my
them too.
and
Oh,
and all the things
I've
we
had them
think,
since I was a
oh,
kid.
like, yeah, my
Yeah.
body's not good enough. And it's really never about our actual body. Our body is rarely ever
The
the problem.
feeling of not being good
Yeah.
enough. And that
Yes,
can
No,
come up in any
exactly.
way, really,
yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it?
exactly. Yeah,
Not good enough. I'm not a good enough mom. I'm not a good enough friend. I'm not good enough body. Like,
yeah.
but you can control so much. Like, we can't control it, but we think we can control it. And
Mhm.
it's interesting with the surgeries because I hear a lot of people go to Turkey for complicated surgery.
Yeah. That seems to be a big place
Yeah.
to go these days.
And it's the younger
Yeah,
generation. They all sort of look the same now. And
I
like,
know.
I honestly think our mental health, like that, to me, shows we're as a global, like, because you pick up on other people's energy, right? And as a global, like, if all your friends are getting surgery, you do it, right? Isn't that
yeah,
Yeah.
it's that tribe mentality? You join the
yeah,
tribe, and then
yeah,
all the tribe have the big lips, and
Yeah.
it breaks my heart. It really
yeah.
does.
It's really sad.
Ugh.
Yeah. Because like you said, we're looking like sometimes we feel like we're not connected enough or we're lacking something. And through
Mm.
that, we seek that control and that safety. And so, yes, sometimes we're doing that through body image and yeah, eating disorders and things like that. And that's how these things are created because quite often we're we're avoiding that anxiety or that stress that we're feeling because we're feeling not enough. And so we're using other things to control it. And that's where it does get dangerous.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love, have you seen Nat? Have you seen the reels that Ellen puts up of where she's just sort of sitting in her gut? It's just sort of
Yes.
hanging
Yeah,
out.
I love that.
It's
It's
just it's
so true.
normal.
Yeah,
But we need
no.
more of that. Or, you
Yeah,
know,
Yeah.
you're not looking,
sitting in
don't
the
look at the
mirror.
highlight
Just
reels, where people are curating how they look. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is how a normal body looks. We do as females, we do have roles when we
Yeah.
sit
And so
down.
do
Doesn't matter
I.
how thin we are, you
Yeah.
know.
And
It's
how
Yeah.
just,
much
yeah,
we
I love those.
exercise
I
and what
love your
we eat
work.
and all of those things because,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think yeah, and that's what I say to women. Like, to be honest, I've always been at the other end of the scale. I've never really carried body fat,
Hmm.
and I've carried anxiety and panic, and I think it's because I am a little bit like a chipmunk, and I don't sit still, so I'm constantly burning energy. But at the
Yeah.
same time, like I would get women coming to my clinic saying, I want to be thin like you. And I'm like, you, but that comes with a bunch of other crap. Like I'm, over the thyroid overstimulated. Like there's just so
Yeah.
many reasons. It works both ends of the stick. And
yeah,
often, like I'm flat chested. Things hang off me sometimes. I can't find clothes that look, I would love the voluptuous look to, fit in more sometimes.
Yeah.
And women sometimes look at you and judge you if you're too thin. But you were saying you can't win no matter what you look like. So you kind of have to just be comfortable with who you are. And how do
yeah.
we do that? How do we be comfortable with who we are?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And it's something I've been working on for a long time. And I like at the depths, I guess it's really knowing who you are beyond your body, I think.
Mm.
And it's really noticing like what do I bring to the world? Because the world is always going to tell me how I look is the most important part of me. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's the message we're sold every single day. And that is where all the stress and anxiety around it comes from. Because then we feel like if we don't look a certain way, we're failing, we're not good enough, like we can't be accepted, we can't be loved. And though, through all of the work that I've done, and yeah, like you said, like people will still look at me and say, well, you're skinny enough, like you thin, you've recovered
You
in
should be happy because you're
body.
skinny.
Like it's easy for you to say, it's easy for you to accept your body because look at you. And I totally make sense of that. And
Mm.
I am the first to acknowledge my privilege in that
Yeah.
I have recovered like this. And though it doesn't change your internal experience, nor
No.
how you look.
No.
And really like I wish more women we supported each other and lifted each other up. The thing is society and these trends, they're created so that like we do feel crap about ourselves and we compare ourselves to each other. And so instead of turning on each other, like how can we uplift each other and stop allowing these billion-dollar businesses to thrive off all our insecurities? Like how instead of hating on each other, let's hate on these systems. Let's hate on the
Yes.
businesses that are thriving on all of this stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's do the work to really get deeper on who we are and what we bring to the world that isn't about how we look. Because once I, yeah, really started to let go of that ideal that this is me and how I look is the most important. And I guess for me, the biggest identity I created through all of my things were that I was the healthy one and I was seen as, the one who always ate the healthy food. She did the healthy choices. She exercised every day. And so letting go of these identities can be really challenging because
Mm.
that's you, like that's who you think you are.
Very
And
restrictive.
yes, and though deep down that wasn't me. And yes, I do still love to eat salads. Like I've noticed like now I can be like, yeah, I still love a good salad. And my friends most of the time when I go to a party, they're like, "Hey, can you bring one of your salads?"
I
Oh,
love
I love it.
I don't, yeah, and I
it.
do love that. Like, I'm not ashamed of that. And I don't see salads now as some sort of restriction and a way to punish my body. Like, I make delicious salads and they're full of
Yeah.
all things, and that's great. Like, it's it's more about how rigid you are in these identities and all of the things that you're doing. You can still love to nourish your body and do it in a way that is nourishing for your
Yeah.
whole self, for your mind too. Um, and yeah, and really just getting deeper on who you are as a person, your kindness, like what you bring to the world. And I know that when I leave this world, people, all my best friends and, my husband and my family, they're not going to be saying, oh, like, I just loved Ellen so much because she was a size whatever and she weighed this much.
She looked
Exactly.
She
like
had a thigh gap and she never ate a donut. Like, oh, she was the best,
Oh
you know?
no, how
Oh,
awful.
They're gonna be
You
like,
know,
I loved Ellen because she was like, she showed up for me. She was funny. Like, she made us laugh. She was, she loved to cook for us and
I love all
loved doing
that.
things for
yeah.
us. She loved to go on adventures. Those things that truly matter that sometimes
Yeah.
we forget about because we think that everything about how we look is the most important.
Oh, that is
I
so
totally
true.
agree. And I agree with you saying how, Ellen, how, we need to support each other, rise each other up. I have found, so I work part time in a crystal shop. I've been
Yeah,
there for about 8 years. And
cool.
I mean, Sammy is the same. I'm the same. We've had our own eating disorder journeys as well. So I get women and guys that come into the shop, and I will often make a comment about how beautiful their voice is, or I love your laugh, or
Yeah.
I love your scarf. I'll just make a little comment about something, or, they'll tell me a story. I'm like, you're so courageous, or, whatever it is. The look on women's faces when I give them a compliment that has nothing to do with what their body looks like, or
Mm.
at first it's shock. And this is very common shock. Often it's
Yeah.
disbelief. And I'll just stand there holding that space for them. And then they get this look of, oh, wow, you're actually, I can be seen. Like they
Yeah.
feel like they're seen.
Yes.
More than that.
We,
Yeah,
we need to be doing more of that.
I
We
know.
really do.
I
I think.
find I've got a lot of family members and friends who spend their whole life journey is a weight loss journey, right? Because you
Yeah.
can't be comfortable until you're a specific weight on the scales. And when
Hmm.
they do lose weight, I feel like they're waiting for me to say something, but I've never really commented
Yeah.
unless someone's put on, 200 kilos and you're like, oh, something's not right there. You need to go to a doctor because, or they've lost a significant amount of weight where it's a close family member and you're like, something medical's going on there. I've never really looked at people's bodies like, but then the same time, it's never really been a thing for me. But laying by the pool with a friend, a dear friend who's always spent her whole life, she got bullied at school because she was overweight. And it's been a huge thing for her. She was laying by the pool with me, wearing all the cover up stuff. She's gorgeous. And there was a woman in the pool, and she was a much bigger woman, and she was in a bikini with her little kids going up on the slides. And she just looked at me and nearly cried. And she's like, why can't I just do that? I'm like,
Mhm.
you can go and do it.
Yeah.
And so she
Yeah.
took her wrap off and she went up with the kids. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like it
Yeah.
hit another level because I've never really had to deal with that
Yeah.
psychologically. But seeing other women go through that, I could just imagine how restricting it could be if you were really that, don't want to show anyone your body at all. Like,
Yeah.
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 How
Yeah.
I mean,
beautiful that she had you to support her through that. That's so
Yeah,
nice.
but
yeah.
that's what I mean. Like, I've never really commented on
Yeah.
these because it's
And
never been a
those
thing.
are the
No.
moments like that moment would have changed something within her too. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
these moments that we need to allow ourselves to have more often, where
Mm.
sometimes it is scary. And when you do the thing, you're like, hey, I did the thing. And actually, really, no one cared because really, the majority of the judgmental thoughts that we're thinking are actually our own thoughts. We've made them up
100%.
Oh,
because
Yes.
people
totally.
are so far deeply in their own world. They're thinking
Yeah.
about their own
They're really
insecurities or
not.
what they're
Yeah.
going to
No.
cook for dinner or their to-do list or whatever it is that they actually don't really even notice you at
Yeah.
all. And if they
No.
do, if they are saying something and bold enough to judge like out loud, then again, that says more about them than it ever does about
Reflection.
you. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
their reflection.
Yeah. I
And have
have.
you noticed as well when you get to know some, so that's just looking at people, out on the street, in public and
Yeah.
stuff. But when you get to know someone, and I point this out a lot, you very quickly stop seeing the external person as you're standing there
Yeah.
talking to someone. You're seeing their soul,
Mm.
so the external factor disappears very quickly.
Yeah.
That's so true. Like people's personalities can make them more attractive or less
Hmm.
attractive.
Yeah.
You can have the most gorgeous, physically beautiful model, and they could have the most toxic personality, and it just turns
Yeah.
you off straight away.
Yeah.
It's just one. I mean, my husband always says, but first impressions always count. And your first impression of someone's always their way that they look. You're not going to go to a hairdresser with terrible hair. You're not going to buy something. I'm like, I kind of get it in that way. In like, if you're a grub and you don't look after yourself and you got food all over your face, I mean, that's one thing. But like, once you get to know someone, that just completely leaves. It's
Mm.
about that person. And I also wonder, like, in the society we live in today, we are just so like scrolling. We were talking about scrolling before, just so caught up in the go, 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 do, 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 that the body often becomes a project because it's the only thing you sort of can control. And if you
Mm.
look a certain way and you fit in, you're doing well. Like it seems to
Yeah.
be the end
Yeah,
project, the main project
absolutely.
for everyone.
And when, I mean, also we were talking about like before we started recording about often it's a trauma response. When you can't control your external environment, the only
Yeah.
thing you can control is how you look.
Yeah.
It's trying to give the body that signal of safety
Mm,
when it's actually doing the opposite, isn't it? It's like,
Hmm. Yeah,
mm,
100%. And I can really resonate with that because I know the one of the biggest parts of what got to me to where I was is that I never used to really acknowledge my feelings. And
mm.
I kind of was that I was the elder sibling. My dad left, so I stepped up and I really became kind of that, I guess in a lot of the ways, that best friend and that other figure for to help my mum.
Yeah.
And I was strong, I was independent, I was all of these things. So for me, emotions were almost a bit of weakness or a bit of thing that I didn't have time to deal with or I didn't really know how to process. And so through avoiding that anxiety and all of the other emotions that were there, like I used food quite often and I also used my body. So
mm,
um, I even noticed that it was actually interesting, and it's great now when you have so much awareness around it. And
Mm.
last week, actually, I woke up and I just had a day where I woke up and I said to my husband, I feel anxious, which firstly is a huge thing because just saying it out loud and sharing
Yeah.
that with someone, very important. And I know that how important that is for me. And I said, but I don't really know what it is. And
Mm.
and instead of just like fighting it or yeah, again, like using food and I had seen myself in the mirror and that day I noticed I was like, oh, there's a problem there. That there was something that just like didn't and again, like that's not something that I always do, but it's funny how now I notice that these things come together on the day where I'm feeling a bit yucky. I also see that and I see myself differently, which is again that
Mm.
yeah,
perception.
So true. You
yeah,
And
pick up on
in
things.
yeah, and that's the problem is like it's okay to have these thoughts and these are definitely normal human experiences and we get to remind ourselves we're very human, this is normal, it's okay and have so much compassion in that space. And it's so important that we do. And then just because we're having these thoughts, they don't have to equate to action. And this is where so many people get stuck is they're having this anxiety, they're having the thought that they don't like their body. And so that day, then they go and restrict food or
Mm.
they skip meals or they go punish themselves doing some exercise they actually hate or they make themselves feel bad because they don't want to exercise or, they speak more negatively. And at the end of the day, they feel worse and they still haven't
Yeah.
addressed the anxiety. Whereas when this came up for me, I thought, okay, I feel anxious. Let's sit with this for a bit. Like, what is this? What do I actually need? Is a huge question that I often ask myself now is what is it that I need? And
Mm.
and instead of getting straight into work, my husband and I, he happened to be home. We went for a walk along the beach and we talked a bit more and it was just, the sunshine, some fresh air, a little bit of movement that was nice. And
That's what you
enough
need.
for me to kind of process whatever was there. And by the time I got home, I was like, okay, great. Now I can like get into some work. And that was it. I continued eating regularly. I was drinking water because the most important thing you can do there is continue to choose respect and care for yourself and your body that day, not go the opposite way. Because, yeah, that's just masking the feelings, obviously, and then creating more of that stress and anxiety. So,
I
yeah,
love that.
having that
I
awareness.
often think, like, I look at anxiety as a signal, as a way to talk to your body.
Yeah.
If you've got that anxiety and you're looking in the mirror and you're nitpicking at every little thing, it's your body trying to protect you. And, if we just do this, we'll feel better, we'll feel better, we'll feel better.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's false, right? Like you were
Mhm.
saying. I find that fascinating. And I just, before we round up, because I'm being mindful of the time, I notice a lot of the reels you do, you talk about that whatever you do and the way you behave, your kids are modeling that. And I'm a
Yeah.
mum. I don't
Yeah.
have girls. I think it would be harder with girls because I feel like they would follow me more so. Maybe my kids follow what my husband does more. But I can only just imagine the amount of girls that are copying their mums, constantly weighing themselves on the scales,
Yeah.
constantly calculating what foods they're putting in their body, the way they're speaking to themselves.
Mhm.
I hear it in my workshops, the food language, like the questions the kids ask me, I'm like, that came
Yeah.
directly from a parent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just think, oh my gosh, they're asking me about creatine and protein. These kids are in grade 4 or 5, and they're asking me how much creatine they should be having. And I'm like, what?
You
Like,
should not know about
oh
these
my
things.
God.
Yeah.
Like your child isn't listening to what you say about their body. They're watching what you say about yours.
Yeah.
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 What you're
Yeah.
speaking about in regards to other people's bodies
Yeah.
too. So it's all of
Yeah.
that. Yeah, the
Yeah.
language, the modeling. Yeah, very much so. That's
So, I
yeah.
mean, it works. Like the way you treat yourself is the way your children are seeing how they should treat themselves. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. And it's crazy because like you said, I have a son and a daughter. My daughter is the eldest. My son's um he's 6 years old. And but with my daughter, often when we are in the shopping center or something, someone will say, "Oh my gosh, you look just like your mum." And
Uh-huh.
that is like one of the biggest things for me because imagine if I was saying how disgusting I look today.
I never even thought of
Yeah.
that.
Like all of these things. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
he thinks, well, they said I look just like my mum, and my mum thinks this
Yeah.
is
So therefore,
She doesn't
yes.
like
So
the way
yeah.
I
it's
look.
just like so
Wow.
pivotal to me
So
because
powerful.
yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
important part of it as well as like
Mm.
always quite often the daughters are going to get told you look just like your mum happens very often. I hear it often. And yeah, like you mentioned before, Nat, like body image for boys is becoming more and more prominent as well, especially with yeah, like things like protein powders and creatine
Yep.
and looking strong and ripped
In the
and
mirror.
getting
Yeah.
jacked and locking in, like all of these things. So boys as well. And I think as well, it's the reason it's just as important with boys is that they're probably going to have a partner themselves, or they maybe
Yes.
even have a daughter when they're older. And so, these words that they're learning and ways to speak about women's bodies is coming from you too.
Yeah.
So even
Yeah.
though we think, oh, well, they're not, the same gender as me and they feel it differently, they're still learning a lot of important skills from you.
Absolutely. It definitely has that generational ripple effect, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite alarming.
Mm.
So, for the key things that I've learned from today, and I find this keeps coming up, Nat, is awareness
Yeah.
over perfection. Like we
Yes.
can't be
Yeah.
perfect, but we can be aware.
Yeah.
Flexibility over control. Like that was a big one I had to learn, particularly. I mean, we didn't go too much into the eating disorder side of it, but
No.
that's one, as you were saying, one of the arms off body
Yeah.
image. Curiosity is a big one over criticism. Like,
Yeah.
wondering, okay, my skin's a little dry and saggy. Oh, instead of going, oh my God, I look so old, going, okay, didn't hydrate yesterday.
Yeah.
Or I
Or
had a,
where have I heard this thought? Because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
probably
exactly.
not mine.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
You're getting
That's true.
questioning these thoughts because so often the thoughts aren't facts. They are just that, a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Being learned from
yeah.
somewhere else.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that we don't have a body problem. It's a safety problem, and quite
Yeah.
often we want to feel safe in our own bodies because of the way society has told us that when getting old is bad, and
Yeah.
carrying a little bit of belly fat is bad. and having cellulite, which is completely normal on your legs, and it's actually needed to produce
Yeah.
estrogen, right?
Yeah.
It's bad. So yeah, I'm sick. I'm calling out all the influences, and I love the fact that what
Yeah.
you're doing, and I think you need to keep doing it because I'm enjoying watching it for my benefit,
Yeah.
and everyone else as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's really important work you're doing, Ellen. I really do.
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, I'm going to ask you a fun question just to end it. Um,
Mm.
I love doing this because we do reflective questions when we have just the two of us, but I'm going to ask you, what's one food rule or body belief that you used to have that you now look back on and go, oh wow, oh wow, can't believe I
Oh,
used to do that.
there's
You
so
got too
many.
many?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, have you got half an hour for the list?
Seeing as we've been speaking about bodies, I think the most like vulnerable one that I can give you that I'm embarrassed that I used to believe is that like bigger bodies were bad, fat was bad. And that came from like lots of beliefs from my childhood that I was brought up with. And
Mm.
now I see just all bodies as beautiful. And it's
Oh.
so yeah, it's so great. And I love that I get to share this now with my kids as well because we've had many conversations around fat and people in larger bodies and what does that mean and neutralizing that word, not making it such a bad word because we all
Mm.
have fat and like cellulite is, we need fat on our bodies.
We do.
Um, and so, yeah, being able to have these conversations with my kids is really important and just not commenting on other people's bodies. And though diversifying the bodies that they get to see so that they can see people in all types of bodies doing really cool things.
I
And
love that.
Yeah.
yeah, and I love this for myself too, because yeah, I guess this is also part of just seeing everyone as who they are, no matter what they look like, and noticing all their talents and skills and yeah, their amazing qualities. So I think
Oh, that's so beautiful. I used to run a women's weight loss thing in my clinic ages ago, and I would always say to them that body fat is a way of your body loving itself because, it stores things that are toxic for your body in your fat cells to keep you nice and healthy. I
Mhm.
mean, there's a reason why our body
Relatively, yeah.
does things. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I love that. Do you have anything else you want to add, Nat?
No, I think we've covered. So, I mean, I could easily sit here and talk to you for
I know,
another
right?
hour,
I mean, we're
Ellen. Like,
already over time here.
I
I know,
know,
thank
but
goodness we started at 8 o'clock. I just looked at the time and I was like, oh, well, that went very
No,
I
fast.
know it
I mean,
goes so fast.
it's
It's
such
so
a big
scary.
topic. It really is a big topic.
Yeah.
It
And
is.
we didn't even
And an
touch on
important topic. I
healthy
like,
eating
yeah,
and
yeah,
starting every Monday. Like there's just
Yeah.
so many things that we could delve in. Yeah, it's too much. Too many things.
Mhm.
So, but if you want
absolutely.
to hear more, how do people follow you? Can you throw in a few things there?
Yeah,
Or what have you got if people want to come work with you?
Yes.
I'm on Instagram just as Ellen.Tuzi. And yeah,
TUZI.
yes. And we also have a page for our Nourishing Minds and Bodies. So that's generally work related with school-aged, mainly teens. And though we have done some, like you said, Sammy, like these kids are learning things younger and younger. So we
Oh,
have
it's
done some
scary.
things as well in primary schools, which has been great. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
I love it. I love it. Well,
Wonderful.
thank you for coming on. We've really
Yeah.
enjoyed this. Well, I know I have. I'm speaking for you now, but
Totally.
I'm assuming you've enjoyed it as
No,
well.
no worries.
Um,
I totally agree. It's
Yeah.
been amazing having you on, having this conversation. We need to have these conversations more often with
yes.
kindness and compassion, looking through the lens of love and kindness.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, we need more of that. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for listening in, and make sure you go follow Ellen on her Instagram. You will not regret it. Lots of entertaining reels in there to watch, and yeah, we'll see you on the next episode. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Anxiety Compass. If you loved this episode, share it with a friend who needs a little laugh and low calm. We'll see you in the next one. Keep following your true north. Disclaimer time. Sammy and Natalie may be clinical nutritionists, but we're not your personal doctors. What you hear is for learning and laughing, not diagnosing or prescribing. If things feel bigger than you, call your doctor or local support line or reach out to a qualified health professional. They've got your back too.